I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
It isn't real. None of this is real. Everything is scripted. All the world's a stage. I have my suspicions about Erika Kirk. She came out of nowhere. We barely knew her name. And now all of a sudden, she takes all of Charlie's audience and she takes over all of his influence, and she can pretty much go in any direction she wants with it. Just like that. I'm not making this video because I care about making friends. I cared about Charlie. I came to Arizona, and now that I do content, I wanted to do speaking engagements more, and I wanted to join the cause. I regret that I procrastinated so much about going to the TP USA headquarters, which is only about 20 minutes from where I stay. And that's one of the things I got to live with. It's a regret I have to keep in mind for the rest of my life. One thing about life, I know women. Nothing about Erika Kirk seems genuine. And then just the whole timeline. It seems like she was brought into to disrupt something else that was happening. I look into, for example, Candace Owens, and she says to my friend Charlie Kirk, I met him back in 2017. Him and her were very close. I think that they sent Erika Kirk after Charlie in what you would only describe as a honeypot scheme. But you wouldn't even have to be a honeypot. It would be more so like in the movie Dune, a Bene Gesserit. What was a Bene Gesserit? Well, it was like a sisterhood of women in the Dune universe, and they were known for their genetic breeding programs, religious manipulation, political maneuvering, etc. But in a way, it's kind of like they put her in Charlie's life so that when the time came, she would be activated and she would be catapulted into the spotlight. And whoever she has to thank for putting her in that position is who she's going to be loyal to. None of this seems okay. For example, this is back when they first met. Look at her.
I'm not going to be able to focus sitting this close to him.
Now, women act like this when you're a extremely famous celebrity or some kind of superstar athlete, not when you're a political commentator that goes around to colleges talking to kids. This was not the Charlie Kirk of 2025. This is Charlie Kirk 2018, 2019 when she met him. No one knew who he was. He wasn't a huge figure. He's never had mobs of women chasing him, lusting over him. None of this was natural. This is the way a woman behaves when you're paying her or when there's a financial incentive. Watch this video from when they first met. Look, he's even in shock. He's probably been in shock about Erika his entire relationship with her. But probably the way he was able to quantify it was maybe God sent her. Maybe she's not a plant. Maybe this isn't a fake production. Maybe God sent her to me. And that's why she just acts so weird and so different, because she's an angel. He doesn't want to consider that she was actually put they put her onto him to get Candace out of his life. In my opinion, him and Candace were eventually going to get married. Him and Candace were going to be a thing. She came into the picture and separated them strategically. But look at her behavior in this video. Everything about her is fake. Everything about him is caught off guard. I'll show you.
You ready? Hello. I'm not going to be able to focus looking right at you.
I'm not going to be able to focus looking right at you. She's speaking as if he's Chris Brown or Michael Jackson or some superstar, Tom Cruise, or somebody she's been lusting over for years. He's Charlie Kirk. This is 2018, maybe. There's no way a woman is maintaining this level of excitement for a regular man. At the time, he's not super rich. He's not super well known. He's not some kind of supermodel. He's a guy. He's just a guy. This behavior, in my opinion, is inauthentic. It doesn't match up. Everything about this seems scripted. How she's behaving right now reminds me of this.
He's a prisoner. Look at him. Look at what you've done to him.
The wife in the movie The Truman Show is the closest example of what I see every time I'm now all of a sudden I'm seeing Erika Kirk across my screen. I now see the wife from The Truman Show. I guess there goes my aspirations from working with TP USA. Now, this is just all my opinion. She was strategically put in his life for a reason. The behavior, the way she talks. Remember in the movie The Truman Show?
Tell me what's happening.
Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
You are scaring me.
You're scaring me, Meryl. What are you gonna do? Dice me? Slice me or peel me? There's so many choices, can't you see? Who are you talking to?
I didn't say anything.
You see that smile? You see that when she was pushed? You got to think about it. Charlie abruptly. Now, when I say abruptly, I'm talking about it's like something clicked in his mind. All of a sudden, he went from being this super pro-Israel Zionist machine who basically, and this was my issue with Charlie for a while too, because I used to follow him closely. There's no way you can be a man of logic, of consistent logic. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to this one subject, this one country that you're not even a citizen of, all of a sudden your brain turns off and all of your consistent logic goes out of the window. It's like, in a way, you're making an exception for how you view reality. And that was my issue with him. People would bring that to me and say, how can you follow somebody that says this? And I'm like, well, you don't got to agree with 100% of everything somebody says. I mean, I'm happy if I get somebody in the 90s. I'll be satisfied with something in the 70s that I agree with. It's not going to always be 100%. And it seems like what just happened with Jim Carrey in this scene from The Truman Show, it seems like that might have been what happened here all of a sudden. And they might have sent his wife to try to talk him out of it. And then he asked her, are you in on this? And all of a sudden he's gone. Look at how abrupt. Now, this is only this year. Look at how abruptly, when he started to think about things and listen to the comments and look at the data, then all of a sudden he just started being honest. He was a genuine person. He didn't keep up the facade. They offered him the money and they couldn't buy him. What does everybody know? You won't do what they want and you won't take the money. You know what the next step is. Andrew Tate refers to this as the Matrix. They've came for everyone. And if they can't buy you, you know what's next. And they can't put you in prison, you know what is next. This is what I think happened. And this is when his wife came to him the same way Jim Carrey's wife in the Truman Show came. But this is why.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. Two, they're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
I did not know he said this on Patrick David's podcast, his show. There's no way one of the loudest promoters of Israel stops on a dime and just goes in a different direction, the opposite direction, and expects to live. We've all seen the movie Munich. We know what Mossad is capable of. We saw what they did in Saudi Arabia when they all pretended to be tennis players to take out that person in that hotel. How did they even get into the country? Sophisticated passports. The people that helped them in Saudi Arabia were all tried and convicted and I believe executed. But their Mossad is a very clever, a very sophisticated group. We think Charlie's security team also is trained in Mossad. There's something else that happened, and we don't know all the details, but I'm only going to talk about right now this whole Erika Kirk thing, because everything about her is fake. And you know what's crazy? I'm not the only one who notices. This is another woman. Her name is Nadia For Real. You should follow her on YouTube. Now, of course, her channel is way better than mine. She isn't bigger than mine. She doesn't need a shout out from me. However, I still want to talk to her. She's going to talk to you about Erika Kirk's bad acting. That's why I said this is a show. But this is why I think they eventually this is why they took him out.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. Two, they're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Yep.
I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay?
Before Charlie Kirk was killed, he said Charlie Kirk fears that Israel will kill him if he continues ahead, providing space for Israel critics.
I don't know of one Israel critic that has a platform anywhere near Charlie Kirk's. I don't know one person that is against Israel that has the reach or was as active as Charlie Kirk when it came to going directly to the people, speaking to them directly. Candace Owens is up there, close, maybe a second or third. You know what? I'll be honest, everyone else is afraid, and they should be. People have accidents who go against the Zionists. And if you're too big and you're too known, it's the Matrix. Andrew Tate talks about it. Everyone has dealt with them. Everyone knows the consequences. Hell, there's a Jewish president of the country of Mexico, and the cartels in Mexico assassinated 34 other people that were running for president. And Scheinbaum survived and made it to the presidency. But nobody wants to believe what's happening.
Kind of starting to question the amount of influence that Israel has in U.S., not only domestic politics, but foreign politics as well.
I just don't think we should go to war with Iran. Is a nuclear weapon Iran a threat to America? Probably. Could be. It's a threat to Israel, but is it a threat to America? I mean, India has nuclear weapons. Pakistan has nuclear weapons.
But he was one of the only people to go to the Oval Office.
You know, the truth is this. Charlie Kirk was so influential, he might have been the deciding factor for why we didn't go to war with Iran on behalf of Israel. Because the people, the American people, were not behind it because Charlie was not behind it. And Charlie was the kind of person, he could convince the masses by just reasoning with them and explaining things to them when it made sense. But because he wasn't a liar or a fraud, he could not make going to war with Iran on behalf of another country. He couldn't get that to make sense to the people. So when that translated over to Trump and to the administration and to the decisions, we didn't have the backing. So when Israel was looking for who to blame for this mishap, Charlie Kirk was one of the people. They did not have, they no longer had his support. Actually, he was a proponent now. He was going against him. He was an opponent. He was platforming people that were telling the truth to people who normally don't listen. This is why he was feared. And in my opinion, this is why this whole thing to just remove him happened. It happened so fast after he started speaking out against Israel.
And say, sir, I totally understand, but a war with Iran could really hurt our country. He took massive abuse from his own donors. And they expressed it to him in a very intense way. I know because he showed me.
He's talking about October 7th possibly being an inside job.
I still have the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border.
He starts to question whether Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli Mossad agent.
Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who is obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence.
And it all blew out into the open at TPUSA's July Youth Summit. Might have been Tallahassee.
Yeah, Tucker gave the speech.
Right.
They said because of the American youth of today, Israel has about less than 10 years of support from the United States, because when the youth of today become the politicians who control the country of tomorrow, there will no longer be support for this country. That's just a fact. And I don't think there's any reversing it. And I think they blame Charlie Kirk. He's one of the people they blame. They used to blame Farrakhan, but Farrakhan's reach were only to the black population, which nobody really fears. They don't take them seriously. They're not. They don't sway or move any needles. But Charlie Kirk was speaking to the people that are actually going to be important, those who are going to matter in the future, and that's why they had to literally get him out of the way.
Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services. It's extremely obvious who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed.
But it wasn't just Tucker. Megyn Kelly had started questioning Israel and
Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Comic Dave Smith, who, like myself, is a Jewish anti-Zionist.
But there's no reason why we even have to be enemies with Iran.
I'll be honest, the Dave Smith portion of when he talked to Charlie Kirk, I think was the icing on the cake for the decision. Now, everything I'm saying is alleged, and this is all for satirical purposes. We're all going to get a good laugh out of this. I'm saying this so that the YouTube gods don't strike my videos down. But again, I'm nobody. I'm just a small creator talking to a camera. I'm nobody important. I'm just, calling things the way I see them, and I'm just making the connections. And it's just like I said, just the timing, the way Erika Kirk came into Charlie's life and how hard she came at Charlie. We're going to go back and finish those videos, by the way.
This is Israel's problem. We don't need to be involved in that. Sorry, we got our own issues here.
My theory is that the World Economic Forum has been fighting a proxy war with the Zionists of Israel and they're both fighting over control of the American arsenal. Now, the World Economic Forum has been funding all of the Free Palestine anti-Israel protests that have been going on the past few years. Israel's been on the opposite end. Why? Because you're wondering, well, who's funding this? Where are these people coming from? Why has the pressure not, fell off or, subsided? It's because they're still being paid by the World Economic Forum. But the World Economic Forum wants the same influence over the United States that Israel has. They're trying to get Israel out of the way. And that's what I've been noticing with this proxy war. Because a lot of these things don't necessarily make sense unless you back up and look at it from a global scale. Remember, the World Economic Forum says the same exact things that Israel says about the United States. Let me give you an example. Let's see here. Where do I have it? Let's see here. Actually, it's on X. So I have another X browser. Oh, yeah, let me see up here. Let's see here. Now, I'm looking for a video of Netanyahu from the 90s. And he's speaking to someone about how they have control over the Congress and the Senate in the United States. So, and then the everything is pro-Israel. This is what I mean. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens at one point in time were in love. Candace Owens was supposed to be Erika Kirk, but she's too mentally strong. They had to put a woman with him that they could control, a woman that could control him, a Bene Gesserit. I'm trying to see, where is this video with Netanyahu? I had it queued that I wanted to show everyone too. But the same things that that Israel says, that the control they say they have over the United States, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, says the same thing. He says, we have penetrated the cabinets of these countries. But Israel has also penetrated the cabinets. So you guys are both now inside the cabinets of our governments, and you're fighting for control over our politicians and over our policies. But you have to get each other out of the way. From the looks of it, where I'm at, it looks like Israel is losing the battle with the World Economic Forum over the American arsenal. And the reason I'm saying that is because Israel's taking more and more blatant moves that are reckless. This Charlie Kirk thing, it shows that they were threatened and they were weak. To do this and make such a move knowing that it was not going to be as clean, there were going to be so many questions, it just seemed reckless. It's like they didn't do it the right way. And these are professionals. So that's the point I want to make. When I go back to this video right here, I believe she was put on Charlie Kirk to get Candace Owens out of his life romantically, out of his way. But look at how she's behaving.
I'm just going to be staring at you.
Hello.
Wow.
Ready, Carol?
Hold on.
She's pretending to basically not even be able to sit still because she's getting to meet Charlie Kirk. This is a woman that was doing beauty pageants with Donald Trump, and I'm a Trump guy, but that's just weird in itself. What are the odds? 300 million Americans, 100 million women, and you end up meeting a woman that used to be doing beauty pageants for Donald Trump, and she was also involved with the Romanian Angels And those were kids that were being abused and kidnapped in Romania. She lived in Romania. Her father was also some kind of person that works in government. It's just like all these, and Charlie's just a guy speaking about Christianity and American values, and he's just caught up in this whirlwind, and it's like this whole production going on around him. But look at her. It's all performative. There's no way a regular woman is going to be this smitten over Charlie Kirk.
We're rolling?
We're not.
All right, you'll be switching. All right, I'll count it down.
Wait. Kind of nervous, you guys.
She's nervous, which is why we must get going. All right.
She's nervous. He doesn't understand what's going on. He's thinking, maybe I just got lucky. Maybe God just literally put her in a basket and just sent her to earth just for me. He had no idea what was waiting for him in only a few short years.
Are we ready?
No.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Charlie Kirk Show.
You're going to have to do it again.
Introduce yourself.
Is that what you're going to say?
I don't care what cultural differences we have. Not even white people act this white. Nobody acts like this. A man is reacting to the woman. Women, no matter what racial background you come from, unless it's your favorite celebrity, unless it's David Hasselhoff or somebody like that, and you're even to get this reaction, she would have to be German, he would have to be David Hasselhoff. That's when you see this type of reaction where women are pretty much pretending like they're about to faint. This does not make any sense. And nobody's showing this video. When I first saw this video, this was a red flag. Like, is this the woman that he was married to? Like, there's everything about her seems way too perfect. And she likes him way too much. I just did a video about Ayesha Curry, married to probably the best player in the NBA. And she hates him, hates his guts. And he's the nicest, sweetest guy, according to, from what everybody can tell. She reminds me of an Ayesha Curry. All the smiles, none of this seems, women are never this consistently happy with any man. Do they get happy if the man passes away and she gets a bunch of money and now she can go do whatever she wants without a husband to answer to? Yes. But he's alive right now. All these smiles and laughter, this is not normal. This doesn't even make sense whatsoever.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Charlie Kirk Show. I'm engaged.
Jesus. Fuck, She mumbles to him, "You're so handsome." This is when they first got engaged. They were engaged in less than 2 years? So this is circa 2019. This is probably pre-lockdown. She's staring at the man because they just got engaged, but they only met a year ago. They met sometime in 2018. Remember, Candace was in his life ever since 2017. They were going on tour together. She's single. He's single. He's obviously her type. He thought, he met her, and then this woman comes out of nowhere. But look how aggressively thirsty she is for Charlie Kirk. Nobody can convince me that this is natural, that this is authentic. Nobody can convince me of that because it's not. I've been dealing with women for years, different types of women from different backgrounds for different reasons. This is not authentic. No woman's looking at the man that she's planning on marrying. They don't look at you like that anymore. That's not how it goes.
Would you like to introduce yourself, or should I introduce you? How would you like me to start? All right, we'll try it again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Charlie Kirk Show. Joining me is the most special guest, my fiance, Erika. Welcome to The Charlie Kirk Show.
This is a movie. This is the Barbie and Ken movie. This is a movie. None of this is real. Now, I 1,000% is not real on her end, but I always feel sorry for men because we're unassuming. Because we want to believe that these women love us. We want to believe that they want to be mothers. We want to believe that they don't want other men. We lie to ourselves. It gets worse. Look at this. This is more propaganda. This. Okay, look, before we get into how fake this is, let's listen to what Nadia For Real has to say about Erika Kirk's acting.
She's full of it. Let's get into it. I'm a trained actor and I've worked in film and on stage for years. And I can tell you that any trained actor can see right through Erika Kirk. Good actors have different methods of getting into character. This allows them to express the genuine emotions that the scene elicits. But bad actors always have the same MO: exaggeration and melodrama. One of the biggest tells of a bad actor is gesturing, also known as the Vanna White effect. If you don't know who she is, Google her. For example, they deliver the line, "I have a headache," while rubbing their temples or grabbing their head to show you how much pain they're in. But does anyone actually do this when they really have a headache? The challenge for the actor is to live as if something were true while knowing that it's not. A good actor can temporarily suspend their disbelief to create an illusion for the audience. But when the actor can't even get themselves to believe the lie, they gesture to try to convince us to believe it. And Erika's entire speech is just one big gesture after another. I can already hear you saying, well, Erika isn't an actor, but I disagree. She's just a really bad one. The first red flag for me wasn't anything in the speech, but in the timing of her address. She had just seen her husband get shot and killed right in front of her 2 days prior, but was somehow still able to deliver a 17-minute coherent speech in full hair and makeup. Whether it's your spouse or not, witnessing a traumatic event like that has marked effects on a person's ability to function, at least temporarily. Sudden, severe trauma causes not just emotional distress, but cognitive dysfunction, because the amygdala, responsible for fight or flight and for our emotions, is in overdrive, which causes the shutdown of the prefrontal cortex, where we process information. That's why people who experience sudden, severe trauma are often rendered speechless. But not Chatty Cathy. She had plenty to say and did so without a hitch. The second red flag was the sound quality of the video, or I should say the lack of it. Turning Point USA has access to state-of-the-art equipment, so why wasn't she mic'd? Even if they'd only used the internal mic from the camera, we still wouldn't hear this excessive amount of crackling static.
I'll be honest with you. If what we are assuming, if what we think is true, from what the footage we've been analyzing the last few days, I wouldn't blame Erika Kirk. I would never let anyone mic me up again, because our theory is whoever put that extra mic that was unnecessary, because remember, Charlie was holding a microphone in his hand, but they put this large microphone underneath his shirt. And then all of a sudden his shirt jumps up and magically something hits him and hits him in the neck. So yeah, if that's why she doesn't want to be mic'd up, I can understand that, but we'll let her continue.
My professional opinion, this sound effect was added later with editing tools to make the recording sound off the cuff and unplanned, which then leads me to wonder what the metadata would say about the date and time of this recording. I'm not making.
She's saying basically that this could have been pre-recorded by Erika before this event occurred. This is all a show. There's no way anything in reality lines up this perfect without a hitch. Everything is lining up in sync, and nothing in nature is ever this perfect.
Accusations. I'm just wondering. As we go through this speech, I want you to notice something really strange. Not the fact that she's not actually crying, because you can see that for yourself, but I counted 7 times that she pats her dry eyes with a tissue, and every single time she only pats her left eye. That's weird because real tears come from both eyes. Also notice that her gestures don't flow naturally, but are motions that start and end with specific verbal cues. Notice the sound a lot. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. If you are a person of faith and you are calling upon God, your source of strength and inspiration to help you, this is something that you're going to do private, right? No person of faith is going to display this, in this super dramatic, all this whispering. That's not authentic. It just is not. Like, that's very performative, and it's trying to show, like, I am a person of faith. I am struggling with this. Like, if you are truly struggling, and this is one thing that you will learn as an actor, a person who is truly struggling is always trying to hide it. That's what we do when we are truly struggling. We try our best to hide it. We don't put it on display. When this is, again, the gesturing, when we gesture to, how we're feeling, or, oh my God, what am I gonna, this is all fake. Okay, you guys have to realize this. Like, in your regular life, when you are dealing with people in your regular life that do this type of gesturing, just be aware that they are trying to manipulate you, because that's all that is. A person who's truly struggling, you never even can tell, because they are trying to hide it so much. So let's just go on. And also, you notice the crackling sound, the background sound is just horrible, and there's no real reason for it. So moving on.
Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice.
Nobody worked tirelessly to capture anybody, because the kid's dad called and said, my son this. He wasn't on the run. He was turned in. No one had to go hunt for him like the fugitive. There was no Wesley Snipes. There was no hiding in barns. There was no trains, no helicopter jumps. Somebody called and turned them in.
I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically.
Okay.
First things first, why is she repeating heroically for that dramatic effect? Number 2, what first responders? There were none. There was no ambulance. There was no yellow tape. There was no crime scene. There was no forensics. There was just an immediate cover-up of the entire area, and they even remodeled it like the same day or the next day. There was no blood on the ground. There was nothing to clean up. Just exit stage left. The EMTs did not touch him. His security team magically did not try to stop any of the bleeding or use pressure, because if they did, they'd be covered in blood themselves. But you see that they carry him away over a long distance on concrete, but magically, not a drop of fluid, of red fluid, ever made it to the ground or to the concrete. So no one was tirelessly trying to save him. They put him in a car. They said they couldn't even close the door of the car because he was too tall, and they drove for miles with an open door. So apparently he bled out all over the inside of this SUV. No one was applying pressure. There was no tourniquets. You couldn't have did a tourniquet on him anyway if you shot in the neck. None of that is true. There were no first responders in those cars. It was just those weird Mossad security guards that were smiling, but also none of them took off their shirt to try to apply any pressure, and they all kept on their black shades. Like a really cool movie.
This, again, is intolerable to me. I'm going to try to keep it together because I told you guys I would, give you all the tells. But this, like, that is unauthentic, inauthentic. That is performative, okay? You don't, something that she does a lot in this video, she repeats words that she wants to really let you know that she's feeling. And that is, again, a device. A person who is being authentic is just going to say how they feel, and that's it. If they have to say thank you, they will. And it's just surprising to me, and I'll go into it later in this video, but that a person who has just gone through such a traumatic event, right? Not only was he her spouse, but even if he wasn't, let's pretend, being in a crowd and seeing someone get killed, right, in real time is an extremely traumatic event. This is not something that renders most people able to coherently give a 17-minute speech 2 days later. Most people will be very much like unable even to process simple things because your mind is not working in the same way. Your prefrontal cortex has.
I appreciate you guys. If you can, hit like on the video so I can push this out to the algorithm. I want more people to hear what she has to say.
Been shut down, pretty much.
Also, she's describing that Erika Kirk, but look at her, perfect for a role of a lifetime, groomed for this role. It's like she knew this role was coming up even years ago.
I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to focus sitting this close to him.
No woman looks at her man, her fiance, that she's already been with for a little while. No one stares like this at her man unless they have to. No women are that obsessed with men that they act like this. This is only in movies. This is only when it's a performance. This is a show. This was the role of a lifetime. And now she's trying to recreate that role here, and it's not conveying.
It's been compromised because your amygdala is in overdrive. Your amygdala, which is like fight or flight, which are our emotions. The amygdala, when you see something like this, when you experience a sudden and severe trauma, your amygdala lights up. And when that happens, your prefrontal cortex shuts down. So all of your reasoning, your logic, all of this stuff just goes out the window. That's why a lot of people that go through stuff like this don't even know what time it is, what day it is. Things just lose meaning. But Erika is able not only to keep it together very well, considering, but she's actually being like coherent, and she's like listing all the first responders. And I'm not saying not to be grateful, but it's just like so over the top. And I'm sorry for all that noise. It's just so over the top, ridiculous. Like it's stunning to me how she.
But also, there were no first responders. So who is she even talking about? Again, this is a movie. This is her, in my opinion.
No, I didn't talk. I wasn't talking to anybody. Talk to me. I don't know anything. Please stop.
Stay where you are. Truman?
Thank God. How can anyone expect me to get conditions? It's unprofessional.
Everything will be okay. I want to say one.
It's like they built this entire world around Charlie Kirk, and they put her in a position where they could just catapult her into his place And whatever direction that he was supposed to go, but whatever triggered in his mind and changed him to go in the opposite direction when it came to one particular country, she's going to continue, and whatever other minions they put in his place, they're all going to march us down that road. Charlie Kirk stopped on a dime and changed. You know how shocked I was when I heard what he said about they were going to ethnically cleanse Gaza? I would have never in a million years expected him to say that because he was so pro this country. There's no way he was going to, they were going to just let him go. They don't offer you 150 million and then you turn it down and you think everything's going to be okay. These aren't the people you can just let bygones be bygones with. Obviously, if they're willing to do ethnic cleansing.
I'm supposed to believe that this is a woman that just went through this type of trauma. So let's continue.
Save Charles's life. And the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon. I want to thank the officers who...
Nobody searched around. Nobody said there was potentially an active shooter. Nobody cared. Nobody was looking to return fire. Nobody was pointing guns at the roofs. Nobody even secured the perimeter. Charlie went down. People scattered. Everybody went into moving around, moving little pieces around, passing things off to each other. They went and got the footage from the cameras, and then everyone disappeared. They did not, there was nothing about an active shooter. They weren't expecting there to be an active shooter. It was just a show. It was a show.
Have protected our Turning Point USA family.
I want you to notice how she said that because her speech got very matter of fact, like our Turning Point family. Like, how do you? This is not a person, in my opinion, that is in shock. It just isn't. She's very composed, and just let me see if I can replay it.
Victims on that terrible afternoon.
Also, I want to say that terrible afternoon. So when investigators, for example,
in my opinion, any woman who's looking at her fiance like this, when he walks in the room, if she watches him get assassinated, she won't be able to breathe. This woman would be in a straitjacket somewhere, literally just completely destroyed. She would not be wearing a suit, speaking at a podium to a camera where his picture is everywhere. This would take a woman who is that obsessed with her man. What? Any woman this obsessed with her man is going to be so destroyed and distraught. She wouldn't be able to speak for weeks. She wouldn't be able to speak this soon after because her voice wouldn't be there, because she would have spent so much time crying. She would have made her vocal cords raw. She would have made herself sick. Real grief, it's hard on your body like an illness. It hurts. It physically hurts to be alive when you're really in grief. I've seen sadder people when a hamster died, not even your dog, your gerbil. She's not upset. This is a role. And this is my opinion, but you guys, people have noticed the same thing. I'm not the only one.
People are interviewing a suspect or a possible suspect, right? One of the first things that they do is they try to distance themselves from what actually happened that terrible afternoon, not the day he got killed, right? So they try to minimize what actually happened, and they try to minimize also like their involvement in it. And sometimes they will even talk about themselves in third person. So everything's kind of like pushed away. So that terrible afternoon, well, I don't know, but I would think that it's more than just like terrible. Like, you lost your husband in this very tragic and violent way. Like, I think it goes beyond terrible, but why is she diminishing it? Let's go on.
I want to.
Some people are in the comments that were saying, some people of different backgrounds don't all share the same type of grief. They're not as emotional. She's still a woman. And she's a woman that allegedly was beyond over the moon for this man to lose her rock and her everything, which is what he was, would be extremely devastating. And this type of speech would be impossible. And shortly, and then this whole speech just turns into a prop. She's literally selling tickets to America Fest in this speech. Her brain would not be able to do that. And she's a woman. There's no way she would be able to do this. It wouldn't.
Thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family.
See how matter of fact?
These past 2 days.
So matter of fact.
And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board.
The board.
The COO, Justin Strive.
The COO, the board. This is what you're thinking of? This.
Why the hell is she? You're right. You're right, Nadia, for real. Why is she even thinking about who the COO? Charlie Kirk just passed. None of these things matter. These are things we can talk about or figure out at a later time. Why are these even things? This was even being brought up right now. It's like they just want to push past him, catapult her into the front, and move on.
This is what's on your head?
I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show.
What is there to laugh about? I don't understand these reactions. These reactions are not congruent with what just happened. Not for a person who's in shock, not for a person who's in mourning. And I will address I know what you're thinking. I will address this later on. Let's just get through this somehow.
Who helped him broadcast from this studio,
okay, gesturing. I told you guys, right? And it's right on cue. It's like from this.
In my opinion, her seeing the chair that he used to live in, if she was in grief, she would have broken down right now. They would have had to cut and do a jump cut. There's no way she would be able to touch this chair, recover, and keep speaking. I remember when my dog passed away, I could not even walk by his dog bed for a year. And she's touching the man's chair that he broadcast out of a few days later.
It's, to me, repulsive. It is perverse what is happening here. So I am trying to keep it together. But this type of gesturing, looking over exactly on cue on this, like, what is that? Like, what is that? This is so using devices for all this drama, for all this, like, I can't. I get so upset about this. But anyway, let's continue.
This chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did.
Every day.
There's no way she was able to recover and speak. There should have been her shirt should be soaked with tears right now. None of this is making any sense unless you accept the fact that this is all just a show. It's all a production. I don't even see her wiping her eyes. I don't see her makeup messed up. She looks perfect. Too perfect. Way too perfect. Just like she does here.
Hello. I'm not going to be able to focus looking right at you. I'm just going to be.
I'm not going to be able to focus just looking at women. Don't act like this unless you are her favorite superstar celebrity. They're not smitten over heels with their own man like this. This is not real.
Staring at you.
Hello.
And he's just he's like regular, like what is going he still can't believe it himself. Another piece of performative propaganda that I wanted to play was, let's see here. Yes, and I use his picture as my profile picture because I admired the guy. Let's see here. Right here, Charlie and Erika.
I met Erika.
Now, I put that this is fake because everything, he's real, she's fake. So the whole situation is fake.
For the first time at this office, Turning Point USA office.
So we met at the office opening, the Turning Point headquarters office opening, the first one, August 2018, and I had no idea what to.
Now, she's older than him, and she's an experienced model. She's traveled all over the world. She's been in beauty pageants. She's used to men with money and influence being around her. She wasn't supposed to be a politician. She was a girl who was pretty, and she was wrapped up in some strange stuff in Romania with these models and these kids. We'll talk about that later. But here, all of a sudden, she's thrusted into Charlie Kirk's life, and she obsesses over him, and she goes after him so thirsty that even he's caught off guard, and even he doesn't understand why she wants me so bad. Just watch.
Expect, because I was coming into the office from the standpoint of they were potentially going to hire me.
And I knew of Erika. I saw Erika, and we had a very brief meeting at the office. And then I had my first conversation with Erika.
He'll tell it differently, so I'll tell you from my side. I was in the Hamptons. I get a random DM on my phone.
She's in the Hamptons. He's in Phoenix. She's in the Hamptons. If you're in the Hamptons, why would you need a job as an intern at Turning Point USA? Why? If you're in the Hamptons, which is in Massachusetts, I believe, why would you have been interviewing maybe a week or two before that, in Phoenix, Arizona, at the TP USA headquarters? It seems like they're at TP USA headquarters making this production right now. She's doing that video. She's doing this video from his office at TP USA in this video. Everything is done in that studio. Why? None of this makes any sense.
Zero service when I'm out there, and all of a sudden this DM flashes up and it's like, Charlie Kirk DM'd you, because it's so Charlie. August 31st, 2018. Hey, shoot me a text at, and gave me his number. I didn't respond for a few days.
I Instagram messaged her and said I urgently needed to meet with her. She said, why? And it was partially a job interview and also partially something else.
So when I eventually messaged him back via text, I was like, hey, nice to officially meet you again. What did you want to talk about? It was so just random. And he was like, hey, I'm coming into town, into New York City. Let's meet at Bill's Burgers. Mind you, I've lived in Manhattan now for about 5 years. I've never eaten at Bill's Burgers before. So that I guess was a sign, like, let's take an adventure tonight for dinner and go.
She's a pageant winning model at the time. Blonde hair, beautiful. She lives in Manhattan for years. She has no reason, from what we can tell, to even be in Phoenix, Arizona. And she definitely does not need to be an intern for TPUSA. She was just running a nonprofit called the Romanian Angels, where they were helping abused girls that were orphans or something like that. She would not need a job from Charlie Kirk. So why is she there? And apparently, they were introduced to each other by Donald Trump himself. It's a big club, and we're not in it.
Go find Bill's Burgers and meet your future husband that you have no idea is about to be your future husband.
And so then
She knew that was going to be her future husband. She's, again, it's a honeypot operation, but the other term that I used was a Bene Gesserit. They've literally, whoever groomed her and trained her would probably send her to different men who she would influence. That would be her job, and Charlie was her next assignment, and likely her biggest assignment. We don't know the rest of her history. We don't know who else she was dealing with in the past. Apparently, she had connections to men in the military, other men in politics, but everyone just covers that up now because of the tragedy, which is a weird reason to not think about the situation.
we had a great time, and it was about 15 minutes in, I quickly pivoted away from wanting to hire her to wanting to date her, and now we know how that worked quite well.
He got there first only because he was coming back from Fox and he kind of beat me there. And I got out of my taxi and we get our table, we sit down, and he orders. The thing that I love though is he was so sweet to the waitress. So that was something that I immediately noticed, that he was like really kind to them. And we ordered our food, and then that's when the grilling started happening. Like, that's when the interview process started happening. So I'm like, okay, this is a legit interview. Like, let's go. I'm glad I had my coffee. Like, I'm ready to debate you about Aristotle and Socrates. And you want to talk about theology? Let's do it.
Get the far fuck out of here. None of this is real. None of this is real. Girls who look like her are not looking to debate guys like Charlie Kirk after they've come back from being international supermodels in other countries, and they come back to the United States to be interns at political organizations. And this wasn't really, it's really just going around in colleges. This is when things were very new with Turning Point USA. None of this is adding up. None of it's making sense. The only thing that makes sense to me is what Nadia For Real is saying, is that all the world is a stage. It's all fake. She's fake. It's all the Truman Show. I don't know, we got to go back to the Truman Show. When you see how everybody's acting on their best behavior and they're all just following along and playing the role, and this seems like this is what was going on all around Charlie to get him in position. But as soon as he did not do what he was supposed to do, you see how fast you can be replaced, even by somebody you love.
I want to thank the millions of people who have shown.
Okay, I want you to notice how quickly she turned, right? Because she's going every day. Like, she's so heartbroken. And immediately, it turns into, I want to thank, notice this, I'm going to rewind.
I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie.
I know women are fake, but women are not naturally this fake. She's not a robot, I believe. There's no way you can turn off emotion that quickly, turn back to the camera, and there's no residue of the tears or the emotion on your face. I don't care how much makeup you have on. I don't care how much, contouring you've done. It should be smeared by now. You're talking about your recently deceased husband that you were beyond head over heels for. This is not adding up. It's all fake.
Notice how quickly she changes her demeanor and the tone of her voice on cue.
What he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown
What he did. I want to thank the million. Do you guys not see something wrong with this? Am I the only person here?
I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance.
Okay, now we get to the political part. This is where she's going to.
Is she reading a script? Why would she pivot to J.D. Vance? Bro, this is for you to talk about Charlie. It seems like the people in the audience cared more about Charlie than she did. Because he's just a job. And she's a worker. I'll be honest. I mean, just okay, think about it. She was in Romania. She got close to Trump doing beauty pageants. Where was she trained at? I mean, I wonder if what if Erika Kirk was also trained Mossad or trained CIA, or, her father was in politics. You got to think about it. Ghislaine Maxwell, her father was Mossad. And then magically here she is wrapped up with the whole Epstein situation. Erika Kirk's father is also in government. He was some kind of official. Matter of fact, let's look it up. Erika Kirk's father. Kent and Lori Frazee were raised in Scottsdale, Arizona, following her divorce. Okay. So these are all going to be new things that have just been updated, all about her father. Who is Carl Kenneth Franzese? Everything you need to know about Erika Kirk's father. So they're telling you what you need to know. Not that you would just need to figure out on your own, but the fact that there's even a bunch of stuff to figure out should be alarming. Carl Kenneth Franzese is an American business plan and an investor with ties to the finance and venture capital sectors. Public record shows he founded and managed CKF Group, a private investment firm. His career has included work in managing investments and supporting conservative causes. He's also been involved with Turning Point USA, a nonprofit, his son-in-law, Charlie Kirk. According to the record, blah, blah, blah. He's from Sweden. He immigrated to the United States. There were some other connections to him and to government that I want to find out about. They're talking about their roots. And it's just one page. One page. They're just throwing stuff out there because they know people like me are going to research and look, and they want to control what you see. There's a lot to unpack here. They didn't mention his military service, but here he is in uniform. And you never see any of his kids' faces either. Man, this is weird. Look at the back of the head, the back of the head, the back of the head, the back of the head. What is this? What is going on? What is happening? Like, there's something extremely troubling. I mean, I'll be honest, this stuff is it's like a scary movie right now. Looking into all this stuff. That's why I'm making this video, looking into all this, asking questions, and nothing's making any sense. We all live here in the real world. We know we know normal life. None of this is real. It's all like scripted soap opera. That sucks. But these are, apparently we're supposed to believe this is someone else's real life. I'm not buying the Erika Kirk Truman Show. I'm just not buying it.
Go down the line of all the political people and everybody, you know, it's like this long list of name dropping and just all politics, right? So.
And his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys.
You even brought up JD Vance's wife. It's like you're just name dropping people. It's this
is honored my husband so well, bringing him home.
There's a question about that, and I know a lot of you have already raised it, but even going back to like what she was saying about first responders, like why wasn't there an ambulance there? Any event that has so many people, like things can happen. There was no ambulance there. He was taken to a not the nearest hospital. Like there's a lot of weird stuff going on here, but I just want.
Yeah, that's true. I remember I used to do 5K races. We even had a booth for EMTs at the 5K race. And he had way more people at this event. There is usually a tent where there are people that if you need medical care, there was nothing. It just all went away. All went away. And then it's true. There were underground trap doors right exactly where he was sitting. A trap door. And underneath it were tunnels that go throughout the school, and apparently they're used for maintenance work. And when you look at the pictures after, you see that they're moving everything around and they're literally remodeling the crime scene the next day. No forensics, no ballistics, no nothing is showing up to do any of this investigation. Trying to look for line of sight, nothing. Everything was just on the internet, just like that. Now there's a backstory. Oh, this autistic kid who has all these learning disabilities but is magically getting into college. He also has a boyfriend that's a furry. They're 20-something years old, but there's no videos of them on the internet talking to each other, talking to friends, making YouTube content. You know, everybody that age wants to be an influencer. There's no footage of either of these guys. There's only one footage of Tyler Robinson that I could find where he was reading an acceptance letter to a college that even his mom was wondering, like, how the hell did you even get accepted there? And everyone knows he's autistic. He's heavily autistic. And it's just extremely reminiscent of the Luigi Mangione, Butler. They fit a very similar specific profile. It's just so bizarre. Unless you say, okay, this is all a fake, and this is all fake and scripted. Then it makes more sense.
I want you to take notice of that. Let's keep going.
You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump.
She did it again. Did you notice? You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump.
Bro, I'm sorry. I don't trust nothing about Erika. This is a dub. Like, this is crazy. Wow. And I've never watched this whole video. This is my first time watching it with you guys. I don't have tons of people in here now, but once I upload this, people are going to watch it, and hopefully I don't get flagged. This is just insane. I'll just end the video here. I'm in the video here now. I'm gonna work on doing some clips so I can do some shorts and divide up the material. This is troubling. None of this even makes sense whatsoever. Look, like the page, The Single Boyfriend, Wing RICO, also on YouTube. And I'll be back on in a few hours with some more topics, but we're gonna keep dip. We're gonna go in and out of this today. This is just a lot, but it's fake. Everything about this is fake. I'll see you guys shortly. Thank you, and shout out to our sponsor. We appreciate your.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.